let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the video. I haven't done a sit down video like this before. I'm kind of nervous, like it feels like I'm interviewing myself. But hi, I'm Sophie and I'm currently in the middle of completing this lovely toolbook called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. This is basically a creative toolbook for blocked artists who are looking to grow confidence in their creativity and also just sort of get over that self-doubt and really evaluate how their relationship with their creativity and then being an artist functions. You've probably heard a load of influencers on YouTube and Instagram I like talking about it. You've probably heard a load of famous people talk about it. It is very much fundamentally a self-help book, but as someone who's kind of dipped their toes into self-help books, I read shit like Atomic Habits and stuff. This is not the same. This is like a giant collection of journal prompts and essays about creativity, and it's really, really interesting. And I've been documenting sort of my progress throughout doing this and reviewing how it's affecting me and how it's affecting how I think about my creativity. So I've done week 1 to 3 and I filmed week 4 as well, and week 4 it's about a lot of different things. Like there's not one core theme for each week. It covers like, so for week 4 it's like recovering a sense of integrity, so the essays cover a lot of different things, but the main focus for week 4 is reading, or in brackets media deprivation. Basically this week was about no newspapers, not that I read newspapers anyway, no books, no television, no social media, no reading on other people's articles. Basically limiting your consumption of media. So it was a challenge. I remember flicking to this page while I was reading about week 4 and I saw that and it was like something dropped in my stomach. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like I can go without social media for a week, but what do you mean I can't read for a week? So I decided to document it and sit down and review it as well, because I feel like it was a very emotional week, but not in the way that I expected. And I feel like I've learned lessons, not necessarily about how or what I consume, but more generally about what I do with spare time. And it was really interesting. I have some little notes so I don't get off track. But basically my relationship with media is like the average person, I would say. I have TV shows I enjoy. I like watching TV and film after work. I enjoy watching YouTube when I eat my meals, etc. I read about a book per week, I would say. Obviously I go on social media all the time. Like I average about 4 hours per day on my phone in general. What else? I like to listen to music a lot, but strangely music wasn't considered media consumption, which I found really interesting. And I wouldn't initially, before I did this week, I wouldn't say that I had a problem. How do I phrase this? I wouldn't say I saw any issues with how I spent my time. I really enjoy watching TV and I felt like I don't really binge watch TV, so I felt like I had a good relationship with it. I would say my main concern was social media, because like everyone, you just get grabbed into it, and if you don't set limits for yourself, it's really hard to just like stop endlessly scrolling. So I approached this week thinking that my main struggle was gonna be with my phone and my social media and turning it off. Plot twist, it was not. Turning off my phone and deleting social media was probably the easiest thing out of this whole entire week. And we'll get into what was the hardest. But yeah, let's begin. So I started this on a Saturday, on the weekend, because I thought it would be good to sort of try it outside of the working week, you know what I mean? Because I feel like if you try and start this shit on a Monday, it's a new week, you've got new tasks at work, you have new deadlines, etc. And then on top of that, you're trying to like limit what you usually do daily. So I was like, let me start on the weekend, and I think that was a really good way to start it, because I spent all of Saturday outside enjoying the early May sort of sunshine, and I went to the botanical gardens and I just did a lot of journaling and just really sat with my thoughts and enjoying this new scenery around me. I haven't been to the botanical garden, so I think that really helped, like sort of just entertain that stimulation basically. I went to a friend's house in the evening as well, so that occupied sort of my evening time, which is where I usually consume the most media. And then on Sunday, again, I was like, I want to get out the house. So in the morning, I went and did journaling and just sort of enjoyed myself, my morning outside. So that when I came back inside, I wasn't really inclined to watch TV or go on YouTube or anything like that. So I would say the weekends was really, really easy. I had a lot of tasks to focus on. So with the Artist Way, you get weekly tasks and they range, I would say, between like 6 to 10 tasks each week. And yeah, so the weekend was really good. The weekend was a great start. I didn't feel inclined to go on my phone. I wasn't really reading a book at that moment, so I also didn't feel the need to read any books. I was just very happy doing what I was doing. I literally just journaled the whole weekend. So I would say it was a solid 9 out of 10. And then we get on to Monday. So for context, I work 3 days a week at home and 2 days in the office. And I sort of work from like 9 till 5-ish. So on Monday I woke up, did my daily morning routine, started work. It was fine, it was all good. And then we get to Monday lunchtime and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do for my hour lunch? And I would say this is when the sort of like, I don't know what to describe them at, like the itch to watch TV, to do something really started to kick in. I managed to take myself out on a walk on Monday, but there was this like sense of dread overcoming me throughout the day when I was thinking about dinner and my evening and what I was gonna do after work. And the dread really was coming from the fact that I was telling myself I can't watch TV, or I can't read a book, or I can't scroll on YouTube while I eat my dinner. And I don't know why, but it was generally horrible. Like thinking about just having to eat dinner and like do nothing, because at that point in my brain I was like, well, if I can't do any of this, what the fuck am I gonna do? I was generally like stressing the fuck out. Like I would like go back to work and then I'll be like, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to watch TV with dinner. Like I can't, what am I gonna do? Like I'm in the middle of the season, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna have to sit out and look at the window. And I was like getting so fucking stressed out by not being able to watch TV. It really shocked me. Like it really shocked me. I didn't realize how much I've come to rely on that sort of brain numbing activity of finishing work and just turning on something to watch so you can sort of shut down. Like it was crazy. I managed to get through Monday night without watching any TV. So yeah, it was really shocking that watching TV was my biggest challenge. Not being able to consume something while I consume food was the pinnacle of stress for the whole week for me. Like I couldn't be an iPad kid was my biggest challenge. It's so fucking embarrassing, but I managed to do it. So Monday I'm gonna give out an 8 out of 10 because I was really proud of myself for working through that struggle and not turning on the TV. Like it was so hard and I did so well, you guys. But yeah, anyway, Tuesday and Thursday I work in the office. So they're pretty chill days. Like I feel like when you go somewhere for most of your day that's not your home and you're not surrounded by your usual like enjoyment points, don't know how to describe them, it's much easier to focus on your work at hand. So I didn't take much footage on Tuesday and Thursday, and I substituted my desire to do something while I eat dinner with a lovely jigsaw puzzle, which is great because jigsaws are great. They really make my brain hyper focus on the activity. And then I think the most interesting day out of the entire week was Wednesday. So we're about 4 days in now. Got over the sort of struggle of not being able to watch TV with my food. I'm enjoying it. I have these lovely big windows, so I ended up spending most of the week just eating, looking out the window, and then going off and doing something, which worked really well. But Wednesday, it was like lunchtime, and I was like, okay, I don't really want to go on another walk. Like, I love nature, but I'm a bit sick of it. And because the artist's way, I would say the main thread throughout it is like your relationship with creativity, obviously, but also your relationship with faith and how that impacts a lot of different things. So for context, I'm not religious. I'm actually very cynical about religion, and in the past I've probably been very like unfair to people who are religious, who do have faith. That's something I've definitely had to rework over the last couple of years, and I'm glad I'm reworking it, because yes, many terrible fucking evil things have been done in the name of religion and faith, but that doesn't mean that everyone that is religious or has faith plays into that. So yeah, anyway, having loads of time to journal and think about these sort of questions that the book prods at, I was like, I'm really seeking, I really want to go sit in like a holy space and just like spend my lunch there. So I did. I went down to a church that's just down the road. It's in a lovely area. It's like, it's almost like on a roundabout. It's like in this like circular road in the middle, and it's, maybe it's not a church, it might be a cathedral. I don't know. I don't know the difference. I was really nervous going because, like I said, I'm not religious. I wasn't sure if you could just rock up onto church. You can. And I went there and there was literally no one inside the building. I opened the door and it was like complete silence. So I just sat and did some journaling, not really about like faith or religion, but just about like how the building itself makes me feel. I feel like I don't really have faith in the sense of worshipping something, but I do appreciate buildings of faith and holy spaces. I think within those spaces you can really feel this like sort of trace of history, this trace of human emotion or shared emotion, this trace of like hopes and dreams and prayers. You really feel it when you get into those spaces, and I really love being in a holy space like a church because it's very inspiring for me as a writer. It really sparks the creativity just to be able to sit in silence and be like, so many people have sat here and had so many different like problems and issues that they have come to the space to sort of be in silence, be at peace with. And it helps that the architecture is sexy as well. So yeah, Wednesday was really interesting. I think I left the church after lunch and was just like very at peace. I didn't feel the need to do anything else for the whole day. I sort of just not meditated generally, but just sort of sat with myself, which kind of also surprised me. I thought if by eliminating the main things I do, like watch TV, watch YouTube, read books, etc., I would be more inclined to do things like write, do scrapbooking, do some art. But I actually found the opposite. I actually was like, actually I don't want to do anything. Like, I just want to sit with myself and sit with my thoughts. And I'm really glad I did. I'm really glad I didn't push myself to do my other hobbies just because I had more time. And then I finished this week going back to my parents' house, and we went on a camping trip with my dad and my sister, just because my last experience with camping was Duke of Edinburgh back when I was like 17, and it was dire. It was diabolical. Like, Duke of Edinburgh should not you should not base camping off what your experience was like in Duke of Edinburgh, because when I went with my dad and my sister, like, yeah, we got lost and it took way longer than it should have, but it was so much fun, and I really enjoyed just like being out in the open, away from the sort of daily activities I have been doing for the like last 6 months, I would say. So I finished off the week on a high note. I had a lovely time. I woke up and had the dawn chorus, which was beautiful. Ate some good food. Went to go ape, which was fucking terrifying, by the way. Climbing in the trees it's not fun. I was so scared. Overall, not to yap away, but overall it was generally such a good week. It was very, very hard. I would say the second and third day were the hardest. Like, once I got over that initial like excitement that I was doing something different with my life, it was extremely hard. And what's really interesting is I didn't go away being like, after this week, okay, I need to limit myself now. I need to put like boundaries on how much I consume. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is to do these sort of challenges, to figure out where your thoughts are, to figure out like how you react to these sort of situations. It's not necessarily the things that you're consuming or how you're consuming them, it's the problem. It's how it's sort of like reacting, it's how you react to other things without them. Does that make sense? I think it was just a really good indication of like, why do I lean more to media consumption over doing things like scrapbooking or art? And yeah, it provoked some really good questions. I don't think I necessarily have an answer, and I don't think doing this for a week is gonna provide you with the solid answers of why you do certain things. But I can definitely see that when I'm overstimulated, or I've just like done a whole day of things that I don't really want to do, which is work. No one wants to do work all the time. I'm more inclined to come back and just shut down, and shutting down for me is consuming media, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not consuming media for a week is not going to break your habits, everyone. It's just going to make you more aware of them, which I think is the point. So that was week 4 done. That was probably the hardest week so far, but it was also the best week because it really made me consider aspects I'd kind of been ignoring on the other week. So like questions about my faith, like questions about why I don't do certain hobbies like my writing every day, and I would highly recommend it. But yeah, if you have any questions on what it's been like or how the process works, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, have a lovely week, and I shall see you soon. Bye.